Welcome back. You're watching the political segment of the Weekend Show. We'll be discussing FEC's 20% increase in salary for the Nigerian police force. The Federal Executive Council, FEC, on Wednesday approved a 20% increase in allowances for personnel of the Nigerian police force, which would take effect from January 2022. This was disclosed by the Minister of Police Affairs, Alhaji Maigari Dingadi. I hope I didn't butcher your name. If I did, apologies. While speaking to newsmen at the end of the weekly virtual FEC meeting at the State House, presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari in Abuja. Joining us to discuss this, we have
Austin Aigbe. He is from Center for Democracy and Development Africa. Welcome back to the Weekend Show, Austin.
Thank you so much. It's good to be back to the show.
Yes.
Always a pleasure having you on the program. So what do you think are the implications of this 20% salary increase? We took, a survey of a bunch of Nigerians who have reacted to this, and some of them don't really see, what difference this can make in the lives of the policemen, given the fact that they were making mere pittance in the first place. But at least some of them lauded the government and said this was a laudable achievement, given the fact that the government has seen the need to, increase the welfare package of the people who are, stationed to protect our lives and our properties. What's your reaction to this?
Again, thanks for having me. I'll begin from the last comment you made. I think we need to, whether it's small or big, we just need to put a commendation, at least, 20%. Fine. Thank you for increasing it. Sincerely, money don't motivate people. Money doesn't motivate people. Theoretically, if you look at all of the motivational theory that exists, whether it's Abraham Maslow, Chris Agris, or the Y and X theory of need, money alone, as a standalone, doesn't really change people's perspective. And there are a series of work that has been done. For example, the one done by Professor Ezedome, he said salary alone will always make you poor. So salary alone, even if it's $1 million naira salary, because it's called salary, the possibility to motivate is very, when I say stand alone, if you hold it constant and doing the variance with every other thing. For example, the work environment. For example, the policies around, we just have the new Police Act of 2020. What's the implication of that? That is enough to motivate the Nigerian police. If everything in that act is implemented, salary alone as an increase is good. I said congratulations for increasing it, but if every other thing remain constant, that you increase salary would not change anything. Nothing. It may change for a few who may not be privileged to be on those roads, who may not be privileged to follow the organs on top, who may not be privileged to hold madam's bag and all of that. You see police officers who hold madam's bag or guy's bag. They don't really necessarily rely on those salaries. They make money from the political angle. And that money they make has actually been more than 20% before. So you've increased salary of 20%. Okay, wow, remarkable. That's great. But did it actually change me? No. Have you been to a typical police barrack? With 20% change that barrack? Just take a drive to any police barrack in Abuja. No, Abuja may be beautiful. Go to Edo State. Go to Kano. Go to Sokoto. Go to a typical police barrack. There was a documentary that trended at the time of the recruitment process of the police. It's an eyesore. They were literally fetching water to eat eba. It's supposed to be soup, but that was water. I know what is soup. Soup got some ingredient. You got to touch some things within it. You touch meat, you touch fish, but you wouldn't touch anything in that. Money alone, and I repeat, money alone will not change anything within the police behavior. It will only just be, like I said, thank you, Mr. President, but we need to strengthen the architecture. We need those police reform that have been agitated for to continue. The police fund. If you still want the police to buy his own shoes, buy his own uniform, buy his own bullet. I'm told in some situation they buy their own bullet to protect us. So when an individual who needed to buy his own properties, in quote, to protect us, can actually turn it around. And that's why you have the bulk of insecurity in this country.
So many valid points and tables being shaken or whatever. But Nigeria, one thing we always say on this show is that if it's policies, we have it. If it's on paper. But the spirit behind this, and I do agree, we must commend them for this move. But this lack of communication between agencies and ministries may come off as problematic if this is being proposed after the 2022 budget has already been submitted, which means they can't do anything till the supplementary budget, which will come up maybe around July, and National Assembly can choose to say, let's wait another year. So do you think this is just lip service or this is actually practicable? Well,
we are told it will begin in January.
But it's not captured in the budget.
It doesn't matter. You can send in, you know, the president already presented. So the budget process is still ongoing. I imagine, again, I imagine, that I've not seen the police budgetary provision for 2020, for 2022. I haven't seen it. I don't know if it's part of it. Let me assume it's not part of it. So if it's not part of it, that's actually a weird scenario. So you know, it's an afterthought.
So just to clarify, in an interview with Newsmen, the Minister of Police Affairs said it doesn't matter that it's coming now and it could be added in the supplementary budget.
Okay.
But we had all year to plan for this. You had a team to do this. Why is this coming now?
Thanks for that information. That's why I say it's an afterthought. So you just suddenly wake up in the morning and realize that, how do we motivate police? 20% will be okay. Let's give them so that we can reduce the tension. Oh, no, 20% is not okay. Let's make it 40. No. 30. Oh, okay, 20 is fine. And you went on air, make that promise. By January, 20% doesn't come. We create another round of challenge within the police structure. We start to put pressure on the average, first on the IGP, who will be directly responsible, and then on the hierarchy, down to the divisional police office. And before you know what's happening, you see a police officer on the road and say, but they're increasing our salary now. You just say, now, you know, they start, we make him up like a comedy, a comic scenario. The police should be actually valued. We shouldn't take the police, particularly the police, but they are the civil authority. We know they are the DSS of this world, the civil defense of this world, but the police, the Nigerian police, is the main authority that provides safety for all of us. If the police has this kind of afterthought arrangement, then it goes back to the very fundamental question: are we serious about our security planning, security arrangement, frameworks? I think 20% salary increase, if it was in a budget, thanks for the information again, you don't even need to announce it. It will come on ordinarily. Going beyond that is a police fund. Going beyond that is a welfare of personnel. Going beyond that is where they live, and particularly about where they live. Shelter. Maslow, in his work, said there are things that make you happy. And he itemized them to some basic needs, which are need for food, shelter, and clothing. Shelter and clothing, they are the very fundamental, the very basic of motivation. So if you increase 20% and there is no shelter, clothing, you are not able to move to the next hierarchy of need, which is a social. So the police will not be socialized. And when the police is not socialized, it impacts on the kind of work it's going to do. Then you begin to talk about the security of the police. That, okay, I have job security. The police actually is secure. You join the police today, you are sure of your 35 years or 30 years, depending on your 60-year limit. Unless you do criminal action that will take you out of it. But the job security within the police. But people join the police, not necessarily because of those basic needs. They join the police because of what they will earn after. Have you not heard that in this country, people pay up to ₦1 million to join the police? But not just the police anyway. I mean, it's almost like a norm in this country. To get any federal government appointment in this country, it is almost like going to the eye of the needle. If you have to go through the free route. But if you have to make it a quick route, people pay. And but we see all of these things on don't accept money. Yes, it's the normal thing. But you need to know someone that knows someone that knows someone. And those know someone, if you are not paying penny, those know someone are actually monetary if you do the calculation by way of what we call in-kind contribution. So these are very fundamental that we need to put on the table. We assume that the police 20% may come in around June, most likely. So we are going to have an anarchy between January and all of. But it's again, let me go back. I think it's still not late. The budget process is on.
Yeah.
All the Police Service Commission need to do by way of procedure is to approach the committee responsible for security and policing in the National Assembly and have that conversation and ask the president write a letter for an addendum, not a supplementary budget, an addendum. I mean, this is administrative. I will assume that is allowed. So once the Senate president reads that addendum before the floor of the Senate, it is accepted because it's a communication from the president.
If it is accepted.
If the president agrees to write. Once the president writes, it will be accepted.
The National Assembly still has to debate it.
Yeah, they will know what. Probably once it's read, all you need to do is to assign it to the responsible committee, whether it's appropriation or whatever it is. It's assigned and it's an addendum. You just add it up.
Let's assume all this is feasible and they do go ahead with the 20% by January 2022, which is just, as we know, a few weeks away. How do we address the fundamental issue of lack of equipment for the police force to actually do their work? So increasing their salary, that's well and good, but when you go and approach a police, oh, this happened to me, they don't have fuel in their cars to go about their duty, they don't have data on their phone, they don't have credit.
To write a statement,
they don't
you need
even
to pay for
light.
paper.
You have to pay for paper, you have to get a pen, you know, they don't even have light in their stations. Where do we start from, you know, in equipping the police force with the right system to be able to carry out their duty? Because I must say, I must commend, you know, the Nigerian police force that they do have people with the capacity. They do have people with the willingness who want to carry out their jobs, but they are not funded. How can you tell a police officer to, you know, run after or chase after an armed robber, no fuel in his car, he has to use his own money, to track someone's phone, no data, you know, on their SIM. So these are issues that they face. It's unfortunate, you know, so how do we go about fixing this infrastructure or architectural system first before we even start talking about, you know, improving further the welfare? Yeah.
So you've just summarized all of the discussion. Sincerely, I agree with you. I've had cause to have conversation with some police officers outside of this country who are doing great work in terms of deployment, whether they are joint police work around African continent. I had a costmate, maybe he eventually came on board from Nigeria. He was an ASP. We were at the Wagner School together, and I had cause to have a conversation with him. He had been privileged to go to Sierra Leone and elsewhere. And when I had that conversation, I saw potential that a police officer in this country can beat any. And I agree with Frank Obama each time he used the word that the police do well outside. But again, there's a systemic problem. Just the same way there's a systemic problem anywhere and anytime. You go out of this country, for example, you see governors walking on the streets of New York, heading to the UN building, and here they will literally knock you off the road with their siren because there's a system that doesn't keep them if they fix them. And I remember sometime in 2012 when there was those Occupy and all that, and former President Jonathan came in, and it was just President Jonathan. I mean, oh hi, but yeah, you know you can't just say hi to a president. So there's a systemic challenge, and those are the things I was trying to talk about when I said money alone doesn't solve anything. And I'm happy my brother quickly put that paper. I was going to add that you are talking about credit, you're talking about fuel. We're talking about paper, Fusca sheet they call it, you know, when we were writing exam those days, we used to come with a lot of Fusca sheet to write. I said, extra Fuska sheet. They don't have it in the divisional police office. You go to report a normal criminal case, and they're asking you, where? Okay, they go where they come. And you're asking. See, fella said, uniform and cloth, not tell the swamp. There are things that make the uniform different from you that is not wearing the uniform. It is the protective gear. It is that there is a bulletproof, there's the helmet. I mean, have you ever seen a typical police? Let me use the NYPD because I've got cause to have some dealings with them. When you see an NYPD dressed, outside the camera button that is always there, because they need to be able to track what you did, is that you see everything, including there's some electrical things that they used to button, and you see the full, you see the regalia. You think that, are you sure? This is an army. It's just a police. Not just a police, a local police. NYPD is not a state police, it's not a federal police, it's a local police. And coming back to the comment you made, we've been agitating, even though people begin to see the political angle to state policing and all of the restructuring. We're talking about restructuring the federal government, the federal nature of this country. We need a federal police. You can keep Nigerian police at the federal. Let the federal government attend to them only. Where there are issues at the local level or the state level, there are boundaries. So there are cases where the sheriff comes on board and the NYPD comes and the sheriff pulled out and all of that. So we could make those arrangements. We should forget what happened before, that the police was used politically, governors or so can use them. When there is crisis in a state, people shout at the president, whereas the domain of that insecurity is within the state boundary, and we operate a federal government. What is a federation? A federation presupposes that there are states who have come together recognizing that they are Edo people, they are Delta people, they are Rivers people, coordinating in that sphere. They know themselves. They can manage their own affairs, including their resource. That's not why we are here. But they manage their own security. They are able to know when Osaso comes to this location and she's not from here, somebody is monitoring her. What's she doing here? Who is she? You know, they see something, say something. It's in Ghana. You go to a typical community in Ghana, once you appear, somebody cites you and call the police. Someone on no fellow just come in, the police will say, put an eye on him, put an eye on her. It's what the community policing does. But right now, you have taken that out to a national level. That people now say, okay, not them, it not concern us. Unknown that security is for everybody. If we have local policing, and the money of that policing comes from that local area, you will be able to solve Fuska sheets. People will be happy to go donate. People will be happy to go to the police station and say, well, I heard that you have limited fuel or vehicles. Okay, I can support you with 50 liters of fuel every week. But now, you know why we are not doing it? It assumes that whatever you are doing, you are giving it to the federal government. And nobody wants to give to the federal government. Everybody wants to take from the federal government. So it's like a national cake. You know how we all come from our states to Abuja to come and cut that cake and then take home. So why will you cut cake and take home and then give to that same cake? That mentality has to change. Our policing system must truly be local. Let the local people own it and provide due support. Then the governors can truly fund the police. If we have all 36 state governors funding the police at their respective state, you have more money within the police circle. But right now, money drops at the national, it goes to the state command, or maybe the area command first, then the state command, then before it gets to the DPO office, I'm told that what gets to the DPO a month is less than 2,000 naira. At the end of the day, by the budgetary provision, 2,000 naira to do what? Is it to buy akara and bread? 2,000 naira to do what? It's a weird scenario. And we cannot continue like this.
So, you've spoken about state and local policing, and you've started this conversation. So let's take it further to talk about sustainable alternative funding for the police. what should the state governments do? Because even if as individuals and private organizations you choose to support, you would only support to the limit of your ability and capability. How do you advise that states should be able to fund and support the police in the states, especially if and when we now have local and state policing in a sustainable way?
So first, we have to then go to the Constitution if we have to make a local proposal we're talking about. As it is now, it wouldn't happen. What the state are already doing is providing, I just had some state governors buy some vehicles and spray them and call them brand new and hand them over, and a few months after, those brand new vehicles, supposedly brand new, I don't know if they are brand new, but I know that they don't last 6 months. So I will assume that maybe they are not brand new. The brand new supposed vehicle, track them. Check any police station or state that the state government had provided vehicles. Try to put an eye, look for individuals who will track them. I've tried to do one. Within 6 months, those vehicles were parked. Two things came to my mind. One, patriotism. After all, there's no money to buy fuel. We can sell the fuel pump and buy the cheap one so that we can use to buy fuel. Maybe, I'm not saying it's happening, but you just see the vehicle that have brand new tires, within 6 months they are already getting tires. It can only happen by change. Somebody has sold it. Drive it to somewhere and just say, well, I get brand new tire. Oh, okay, you don't come. I just assume because of the nature and the environment where we live, that a brand new vehicle, you own cars. There are 5-year-old cars still going very well. But not for the police. Not for the police in the divisional level. I'm not saying for the police, those are guys, they maintain theirs. Because they could buy fuel and get them to service vehicles. As small as servicing vehicles. Are you aware that there are some individuals using police vehicles, I don't want to call them police officers, using police vehicles, driving to a roadside mechanic to buy those oil that you those engine oil you see on board in those cans, buy them and use them to service supposed brand new vehicles. No way. If we want to maintain those vehicles as they are coming in, put them in a fleet. Let it be management for it. Let's start from there. That fueling is secured. Just the same way you see with this military. If you go to a typical barrack, there's a filling station inside, a gas station. That the army or the military secure their own fuel and put them there. Can we think of that happening for the police? They will tell you, no, it's not going to be possible. The military, they are in one place. There's divisional police across. Then why don't you make a local government base? 774 local government have a station dedicated, solely dedicated for the police. But you don't have to then track the fueling. Because if you don't track it, they will sell it. Somebody can just drive 100 liters. Oh yeah, remove 80. You know, it turns black market for someone that 20% cannot motivate. Mm-hmm. It goes beyond that. I once had a conversation with a police officer and said, what is happening? What? He said, I get 7 children. I'm like, okay. I wasn't going to be unfair to say, why 7? Because me, I never get 7. You get 7. And I said, okay, 7. But your salary, and the salary is a bit around 65,000 for 7 kids. I said, what about your wife? He said, I'm a full-time housewife now. She dey house. But she dey sell small things. And I said, you live in the barracks? No. An apartment rented outside. All this one face me, face you stuff that exists everywhere. So what comes to my mind was, it will be very difficult to motivate this kind of police officer. Number one, he's got 7 children. Once there's a likelihood that those 7 children, if one eventually get out by way of his funding, it will be, thank God. If all of them get into university, maybe there's one a final year and one just entry. No Nigerian university right now is cheap. Not even the federal universities. Uniben, all of the federal universities used to be very cheap, 19 naira. But now it's in thousands now. I don't know how much now, but it's in thousands. So if a man earns 65,000 naira and he has just 1 kid in the university, If that kid is going to school, we call it two-pot. They need to cook and eat in school while the family eat. So how are you going to share that money? Can you see the motivation for trying to look for money elsewhere? Trying to go just in the evening, you just come out from your DP office, divisional office, just come out the next road and just put some rubber and without tear gas. I don't know if it's going to call it. They'll just hold it. If you look, there's no tear gas in. They'll just, hey, stop! Why do you think they're motivated to do that? They take home, cannot take them home. And 20% will not do the magic. Will not do the magic.
Well, someone with 7 children, even if you're paying him 200,000, I'm sorry, that money is still not enough. So it seems like there has to be an entire overhaul and also a sensitization that needs to go on, you know, in shaping the mentality, the values of our police officers as well. Aside laying the proper infrastructure and architecture that they need to thrive, they also need to go through some psychological training and, you know, to beef them up to be prepared for the job. And we also need to sift through the kind of people we accept into the police force to ensure that they are mentally capable of carrying out the job. But thank you so much for the insights you've shared on today's program. It's truly been a pleasure having you on the show. It's been very educative, all our guests on each segment. So thank you so much, and compliments of the season.
I wish you the same.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That's all we have for you on today's program of The Weekend Show. Do follow us on social media at TOS TV Network, at The Weekend Show. Weekend Show NG, at Osasa Igbenedion.
And Andy Madaki on all social media platforms.
All right, next week Saturday is Christmas. We'll be showing you highlights from the year. We'll be going out doing some charity work, which we enjoy doing on this program. And we'll be reaching out to everyday Nigerians. If you see us on the streets of Abuja, say hi to us, wish us Merry Christmas, because we're wishing you the same. But please do enjoy this beautiful season with your family, with your loved ones, and do take very, very good care of yourself. Unfortunately, COVID-19 is still very much out there, so as much as you can, practice social distancing, keep washing your hands and wearing your face mask, and taking very good care of yourself. God bless you.